Greetings to my fellow hiccup heroes across the world. Welcome to another episode of the Hiccups Healing podcast, the ultimate destination for anyone navigating the tumultuous waters of high conflict co-parenting. I'm your host, Sadie Sadiq Cisse, and today's episode features an insightful interview with a talented entrepreneur, father, and author, Hajji Hassan. Hajji Hassan is a seasoned entrepreneur and the founder of Shoot with Haz, a media production company based out of Brooklyn, New York. He has credits and features in the likes of Forbes magazine, Vogue Arabia, Delta Airlines, Hip Hop Weekly, The Source, and Bravo TV. Besides being a father, Hajji is also a Muslim, polygynous husband, a visual artist, a producer, a philanthropist, and also the author of It's Okay to Just Have One Wife, A Muslim's Guide Through Polygyny. Born in Harlem, New York, but Hajji was raised in Senegal, West Africa, giving him a unique perspective on life and parenthood. In today's episode, we dive deep into Hajji's journey as a co-parent and a polygynous husband, discussing the challenges he has faced and the wisdoms he has gained throughout his experience. We also explore the ways in which Hajji's unique background, beliefs, and experiences with polygyny have shaped his approach to co-parenting. As a successful entrepreneur, Hajji has faced many challenges in balancing his work and personal life, especially when it comes to co-parenting. During our conversation, he shares valuable insights on how he has managed to maintain a positive and productive relationship with his co-parents despite the difficulties that often come with high conflict situations. One of the key themes of our discussion is the importance of effective communication and understanding in co-parenting relationships, which is a topic we discussed in detail in our previous episode. Hajji emphasizes the need for parents to listen to each other, respect each other's boundaries, and focus on the best interests of their children. He also highlights the significance of cultural and religious beliefs in shaping the dynamics of co-parenting relationships and how these beliefs have guided his process. Throughout our conversation, Hajji shares a wealth of wisdom and practical advice for anyone navigating the complexities of high conflict co-parenting, as well as the challenges and rewards of polygyny. His experiences and insights are a valuable resource for anyone seeking guidance and support in their own co-parenting journey. So join us for this enlightening conversation with Hajji Hassan as we explore the world of co-parenting and polygyny through the eyes of a father, entrepreneur, and man with a unique cultural and religious background. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the Hiccups Healing podcast, Hajji Hassan. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to choose polygyny as your family structure?
What's going on, brother? First and foremost, thank you for inviting me on the show. I love the work that you're doing. Keep doing it. It definitely is a dialogue that needs to be had about co-parenting and family dynamics, especially in the African-American community. So I really appreciate this work, man. It's needed. The reason why I chose polygyny, see, it's two things. We have polygamy, and then in Islam, we practice polygyny. Polygamy is when the woman or the man can have more than one wife. Polygyny is when the men is the only one allowed to have. So I just wanted to get the verbiage correctly. In Islam, we practice polygyny. I was in monogamy for over 12, 13 years. My first marriage was 12, 13 years long. When I first got married, polygyny was nowhere in my mindset. It wasn't talked about. It's not like right now, it's like really cool. It's a cool thing to do now. Not just in Islam, just amongst African-American community. It looks so great. The man, he looks so strong with two beautiful women and they all kissing on each other. That wasn't around when I was going to get married back in 2004. I didn't even think about having another wife. That was the furthest thing from my mind. I didn't know what having a wife even meant or looked like. So there's no way in the world I was coming into a situation like, all right, I'm going to have you, then have her. I had no foundation. Now, I'm not going to say unfortunately, because my ex-wife, which is my daughter's mother, if we say unfortunate, that means her situation didn't work out or my situation didn't work out. Fortunately, Allah allowed us to be in each other's lives for over a decade in that capacity. And then when that relationship ended, because nothing in this world is permanent, nothing in this dunya is forever, nothing. And we have to get to a place where we realize that and understand that. We only here for a certain time in the season. So when our time in the season was up, she found other blessings somewhere else. I found other blessings. And I just decided from my experience experience of 13 years of monogamy that who I am as a man, I wanted polygyny because I didn't want to make some of those same mistakes that I was making early in my life and going through marriage. So that was the number one reason I said, you know what? Allah made it permissible. I'm struggling in this area. I love women. I love different type of women. So let me not play myself and keep putting myself at jeopardy, putting my soul at jeopardy. And let me try. At least if I try to do it through, I'd rather fail trying to do something right than succeed at doing something wrong. That was my reasoning.
Thank you for sharing that background. And have you found that polygyny fits your personality and benefits your family structure compared to monogamy?
Let's talk about the children. My children have gained bonus moms, aunties, other women outside of their moms that can give them guidance and love and affection. And alhamdulillah, I chose good women, and they have been a staple in their lives since they were young. So I've been in polygyny for going on 6 years now. Think about it. They didn't have a lot of kids. They didn't have a lot of experience with children. One of my wives was a virgin when she got married. The girls were my daughters were her first kids. And she took them in and she raised them and cared for them and loved for them. She still does today. So it allows the kids to have other outlets. It also allows the children to see a man operate in different capacities with different people. Only in the West that we really over-sexualize relationship. Only time we see men with other women is in the pimp or the girlfriends and stuff. We never see black people doing things like this, what I'm doing. You don't see white people do it. The Mormons, when they have a show on TLC, Sister Wives and Big Love, and they put a little drama here and there, but it's positive. He got money, he has the business, he has land, and we have to change the dynamic because there's a lot of black people. Just like yourself, we grew up overseas. So we seen what it was to have a functional polygynous family. We seen what it is for the men to work and take care of the family and take care of the community. So we have no excuse. So yeah, it's been a benefit. And it has its challenges as well. Don't think like marriage in itself is challenging. So think of if you had a relationship and it was rough, imagine having multiple of those. So you got to really ask yourself, are you built for that? Do you have the tolerance, the patience? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the capacity to deal with multiple situations that any given day, it could be 9/11. You know what I'm saying? It could be crazy. But alhamdulillah, I have more good nights than rough nights. So that's all that counts.
Okay, and so how do you balance polygyny and fatherhood?
Be organized, right? And you have to have a goal and a mission. If you don't, you're going to be all over the place. What do I mean by a goal? A goal means like a family goal. What are we trying to accomplish as a family? And the mission is whatever that man is trying to do, right? So what you should do is try your best to think family is business. So what are you trying to create? Like right now, I'm running a media company. I'm creating a media company, right? So everything that I do, everything that my wives do, everything that we're always talking about making Shoot With Highs go to the next level. There's no confusion with that, right? So if we can work together and do it, if I need to go to big production, the wife knows I got to switch out a car to get the bigger car to get through. Everybody's in sync with what the goal is. And the goal is to make sure Shoot With Highs is successful because alhamdulillah, as we see, the more successful I get, the better it is for everybody. Everybody's comfortable. So that's the goal. And managing it, just being organized, having your designated days at each individual house. Each of my wives have their own place of residence, have their own home, and being able to be a different person for each wife, because each wife is different. And that took me some time to learn. In polygyny, when I first started, no. So it was like a blanketed person. I used to actually copy and paste text sometimes, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at it as this managing time. Like, all right, let me just make this nice little note and send it to all three of them. How they gonna know? But what happens is the redundancy. You start to like, nah, this person likes it differently. And then you know how each individual likes to be communicated to or likes, and it's a learning process. You're constantly learning. Just being organized. That's how you stay successful.
Okay, and what has been some of the conflicts you've experienced and had to navigate in co-parenting with multiple wives? And what strategies have you used to maintain healthy and productive relationships with each of your co-parents?
So one of the conflicts maybe is I think everybody deals with this, pick up and drop off, right? With my daughter's mom, it was like, all right, who's going to pick them up? Who's going to drop them off? And you just have to have a level head and you have to learn how to take the emotion out of it. It took me a long time to get there because they're your children. This used to be your wife, right? So it's hard to not be emotional. So especially sometimes people get petty and people want to do certain things. And my ex-wife, she moved further than where she used to live. So it literally takes me an hour or two. No consideration was thought. Nobody called and said, hey, this might be a hardship for you. Hey, I don't think I was on their moving plans. I was thought about, okay, man, it's going to be hard for him to come pick up the girls. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get caught up in the details because my daughters used to live with me full time until their mama asked me, do I mind them living with her? Because in Islam, when a woman remarries, the girls go back to the father. So my girls went back to me as soon as she got remarried, the next day, I picked up all my girls. So it wasn't until 2.5 years they've been living with their mom because she asked me. I allowed it because I want them to have a strong relationship with their mom. I never want to come to see, this is the maturity coming in. I don't ever want it to be me versus her. So I could have been like, nah, I'm good. I don't trust her husband. I don't do this. But sometimes you got to put it in the law's hands. And you have to say, you know what? I'm going to grant this because as a girl growing up, they're going to need their mom for certain things that I can't give them. And you love your mom. And by doing that, it allowed me to strengthen my relationship with them because now when I do see them, the time is more valuable and is more cherished and you do more. Because you can be with your kids 24/7 and not even talk to them. There's some people with their kids all the time. They don't even know their kids' favorite color, favorite food, favorite movie. But some dads, I see their kids maybe twice a week and they devote 2 days all for that kid. And so it's not about quantity, it's quality. That's something that I had to learn. It's hard. It takes some time to learn it because they're your kids. They come from you. And you never want them to be, you never want to feel like you're being replaced or something like that. So that was one of the challenges that I had to work through. And how I got past it was to look at the bigger picture and to keep Allah in your affairs. Try to always take the high road, even though it's wrong. Women are emotional. Men, we're not made to be emotional. So when they get emotional, just try to keep your head up. It's hard. It's going to take some time, but just try to keep your head up. So drop off pickup was a hard one. School was also something, but you have to learn to let go sometimes. You can't control everything. You got to just co-parenting. You got to be like, you know what? You handle that. I trust you with that. And once I did that, the mom updates me and this and that and let me know what's going on and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's cool. Even because the thing about co-parenting is the problem is a lot of people have a lot of problems is because the adults are not done with each other. The man still loves the woman or the woman still loves the man. So because they still love each other, they don't want to say, hey, I still love you. Let's work it out. They want to make his life miserable or he wants to make her life miserable. But when people found happiness separately, like my ex-wife found her husband, she has 3 kids with him. I jumped into polygyny. I had 4 other kids, 3 other wives. I don't got no time to be mad at her. Literally, you don't even have the time. So that's what I think men need to do. We need to really take the high road, don't get emotional, and know that it's always going to be another day.
So there was high conflict in the beginning of your co-parenting relationship?
To be completely transparent, she married one of my friends. That's a high conflict right there. So that was already a touchy thing. And this is a man that said my father was his shack. He was a brother of mine. Like, I don't believe in marrying my brothers or my nephews. It's a bro code. Like, I'm not going to marry your ex. But I guess that's not his perspective and that's not her code. And me having to respect that. So when that happened, it was high. It was like, oh, you really trying to, in our words, like you trying to stick it to him. Like, I'm gonna go get your bro. You know what I'm saying? So that was hard for me to accept. But the blessing in that, she could have married somebody that I didn't know. And then I'd be calling we gotta go knock this dude out because he looking at my daughter said she uncomfortable. Or so look how our law works. You know what I'm saying? What was hard for me turned out to be the best thing for me and the girls. And sometimes men, we have to realize that. Sometimes the hardest thing is the best thing for you. Leaving that marriage is a hard thing for me, but look what happened behind that door. Got my daughters, got my first son. You know what I'm saying? Look what happened behind that door. She got her first 2 boys. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to go through that pain. This just got to keep going because it's a big blessing waiting for you after that. It's a big blessing. Not a lot of brothers can stomach that. Like I had brothers call me like, yo, we're going to go see dog. Let's go see him. Imagine that your best friend married your daughter's mother. It's just, and you got kids with her. And you just spoke to him the other day and he didn't say nothing about none of this. That was a growing moment for me. Allah wanted me to mature. Allah wanted me to grow. And I'm not saying this I'm not judging nobody. I'm happy. I'm in a good place. I see the brother all the time. It's all peace. It's all love. I invited him to my house and I actually apologized to him. My fault for coming off like that. I didn't have to do that. I invited him and my ex-wife to my house. My wife cooked them dinner. Yeah. That's how you do it. That's how a boss does it. You don't move like that because at the end of the day, my daughters are around this man. So if you're not going to do it for you, do it for them. You know what I'm saying? Do it for them because life is too short, man. And I've seen a lot of men lose their lives by hating their ex-wives. I've seen a lot of men to this day. Oh my God, I have a brother, right? He hates his ex-wife to this day. My oldest brother. They broke up, I was 20 years ago, 20 something years ago. And if he hears her name, it's she ain't nothing. He go right back into that chamber. Like dogs, like whenever you gonna leave that alone, man? When are you gonna get to the point where you wish it didn't work out? I did wrong, you did wrong, I made mistakes, you made when does it get to that point? Some people never get to that point. So I don't want to be like that. So my co-parenting situation is good. My ex-wife, she texts me every birthday, happy birthday. I text her happy birthday. My daughter's wallahi today just now asked me to send her money to buy a Mother's Day gift coming up next week. I'm about to Cash App them. Father's Day, she makes sure they send me something. So you can see love is still, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't spend a decade with somebody and just because they made certain mistakes, you like, no, it don't work like that.
Wow, okay. And so what would you say are some things that have helped you to be successful in creating a nurturing environment for yourself and your children?
I think it's just giving the children and the family more of you. And you try to be accommodating. And then when there's a problem, mom is calling me and I'm driving up there to handle the problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where you just have to have a level head and you have to be able to be organized and speak to your children. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you care. Let them know that you're there for them. You have to get out of your emotions. That is the problem. So many people, when they co-parenting, they stay in this emotional state. That's why so many people in court visiting hours. It's just emotion. Oh, he did this to me. He did this to me. He did this to me. She did this to me. And then there's nothing is about the children. I didn't want that for my kids.
Okay, and so thank you for sharing those insights. How do you ensure that each of your children feels safe and valued within a co-parenting situation like yours?
You have communication with them. Like each of my kids, they have talents, they have hobbies. That's why it's quality over quantity. So now my 4 daughters who I'm co-parenting with, and my son, I'm not married to her mom no more. So you find out they like my daughter's into bass guitar. So they're into tech, they're into fashion. So they like Mac over PC, right? One of my daughters is graduating 2 years earlier. So you have these conversations with your children. My son likes Black Panther. He's a Marvel fanatic. So he likes all of the Captain America, you name it, he can run it down. So you have to have conversation with the child and also with the parent so you can better understand how you can. My daughters comfortable with me. They tell me when hey, Dad, I need pads. That's comfortable. They ain't coming to you if they're not comfortable. You're not doing what you're supposed to. Your kids are not coming to say they need pads and toiletries and I need this, I need that, So all their life they know you to be a provider. They know you to always be there. So that's not gonna change just because you're not with their mom. And brothers got to remember that just because you break up with the mom don't mean that you could break up with the children. A lot of brothers, they break up with the mom and the child. And sometimes to a good reason. The mom is making it very difficult. So they throw their hands up. They're like, you know what? On to the next. But we have to say, let's make sure, let's work it out. Try to take the higher road.
Okay, and so do all of your wives live in the same home? And if not, would you consider the situation with children living in separate homes as a type of co-parenting?
No, because co-parenting is because when you co-parent, that is when you are trying to come up with an agreement that's better for the child with someone that you're not with. When you marry to somebody, everything that child does, that woman will let you know. My daughter, so it's a different dynamic. The dynamics are totally different. When I was married to my ex-wife, I wasn't an entrepreneur, but I had a job at the Board of Ed, but she wouldn't do anything without consulting with me about the girls. It was like second nature. My daughters, I have 2 daughters with my wife that lives in Jersey. She won't do anything without letting me know. I'm not always there. That's established because we're married. Now, with co-parenting, a lot of the parents, they don't give you that type of energy because you're not together. But when it's a financial thing, it's something that's about progress or there's something in regards to anything. Then they'll say, hey, this is coming up. When are you going to pick up the girls? It's more business. You know what I'm saying? But when you married to somebody, ain't no co-parent. Just because you're not there 24/7 don't mean you're not managing. That's a misconception that we have. A lot of men are there 24. You're not, even if you have one wife and you're not there 24/7. You work 40, 50 hours a week. So when you get home, you're going to sleep, you're tired to wake up the next morning and do the same thing. If you're lucky, you got your Saturday and Sunday. Some men don't even got Saturday and Sunday. So how much time are you devoting to your kids working, paying bills? You don't have the time. I am an entrepreneur. I own my time. So I can take this off. I can cut that off. I can say, you got to have ownership. A lot of men don't have ownership of their time. So what are you doing? And I'm not faulting them because they got to go out and get the bag. But let's not play this game just because I'm not there, I'm not present. I'm very present. You know what I'm saying? And the mom who you're married to, the woman, will make sure the kids know that you're present. You know what I'm saying? How do you think families that live in different countries exist? There's men who travel for a living and their kids are in Dubai or Saudi or Africa. You think the mom, there's technology, there's FaceTime, there's all types. Look, we're doing an interview in 2 different states. There's no excuse. You can be present. You know what I'm saying? People in the Army, the Navy, National Guard, when they have to do their service, how do you think that happens? How do you think they just abandon ship? No, but really it's a mindset, right? Even with my children, who I'm not married to, I'm very present. They text me every day, good morning, daddy, how you doing, what you doing? And most of the texts is, can I get some money? Can I do this? Can I do that? But there's no excuse not to be present.
Yes, you're completely right. There are many ways to maintain your presence even in the distance. I completely agree with that. And so would you say maintaining presence and leveraging the available tools for effective communication are necessary for successful co-parenting and polyparenting? What is your perspective on the term polyparenting actually?
Bro, parenting is parenting, man. We got monogamy, parenting is parenting. They don't get lost in the sauce. Just because you there's men with multiple girlfriends, multiple children with each of those girlfriends. How do you think they do it? How do you think Nick Cannon does it? Puff Daddy, all of these, right? They're organized. Whether they have the assistants keeping them on their schedule, they make time for what you have to make time for. But Puff Daddy don't have a job. He's an entrepreneur. Nick Cannon is an entrepreneur. Hajji Hassan is an entrepreneur, right? So we have the time to give the energy, a good time, not the tired time or when you just got off of work time or when there's a problem time. No, a time to be involved. And you got to understand, it's about just being available, being there for your children, letting them know that I'm always here. I ain't going nowhere. Inshallah, by the grace of Allah, next year I plan on buying a big house. Why a big house? So all my children can have a common places to be. So as they get older, they might not want to go to their sister's house. You know what I'm saying? They might not want to go to, because sometimes kids are like, I'm loyal to my mom. I'm not, that type of stuff, because those dynamics happen. So as a man, what you do? Now you have a central hub. What my father had in Brooklyn. Everybody come there. So when you want to have your family dinners or your family meetings or you want to have birthday parties, there's a central location so everybody can be comfortable. And you know what I'm saying? And it's the kids. It's for the children. So you have to put things like that in place so there's no problems, inshallah.
Okay, and so how do you manage the relationship with your ex-wife, her current husband, and your children? How do you balance dealing with a step-parent or co-parent in this situation?
I don't have no emotion in it. It's not emotionally charged, so it's easy for me. When I see them, Assalamu alaikum, how you doing, what's going on? We don't have no problem. As long as my children are smiling and happy, I don't have no complaints. I don't get into that. I don't go to bed at night thinking about them because I have too much on my plate to think about. I got too much blessings in my life. People have to focus on what Allah puts in front of you. I'm good. When I see them, it's all good. They respect me. I respect them. You know, he doesn't overstep his boundaries. When something happened with my girls and he wasn't sitting down with the family talking, it was me. I went to his house, sat in his living room and spoke to him. Me and my ex-wife spoke to the kids. It's boundaries. Men have to know their boundaries.
And so what are some of those boundaries for a step-parent to understand?
Understanding that those are not your children. You're married to their mother. So you are not, they have an active, very active father. So when you have that, you have to be very careful in what you say, what you do to them. You're not there to be the disciplinarian, nor are they there to disrespect you. So it's a balance, right? You're not there to financially take care of them. You're not there to do none of that, right? You're there as the husband to their mother. Now in Islam, you have to be, I'm not saying when he buys a pizza, he's like, oh, you're for, you can't tell your father about it. We're not talking like that, right? But we're talking about when it's time to go winter shopping, I'm buying. When it's time to get sneakers and shoes, they're not looking for him for that. Computers, tech, everything, they're not looking for him for that, right? Boundaries. He's not looking to do that. Some guys be doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the father is non-existent or not in the picture, that's a different story. But if you see a father in the picture, you don't move, you don't do certain things. You out of respect respect for that next man, because you wouldn't want somebody to move like that around your children. What's that? So it's about integrity. You got to have that type of integrity. Nah, you ain't moving like that. You don't got to pay for that. That don't have nothing to do with you. And Islam clearly states what it is. They're not his responsibility. That's why the children go to the father, because they are essentially his responsibility. But in America, we have it backwards. We think that the children should go with the mother, and it's not like that. And unfortunately, a lot of men don't have their stuff together. A lot of men are still figuring it out. So that's why a lot of kids do go with the mother. But sometimes there are men who want their children, and the mom is nah. The father can have everything set up for them, but the mother, she's still in love with him, or she still hate. Love and hate is parallel. But yeah, I don't have any problems with that.
Did you have an open conversation with the step-parent in regards to these boundaries, or was it something that was more unspoken?
It's unspoken. Men know. No conversation.
Okay, so that makes sense. And so can you tell us, as a Muslim man, what role has your cultural practice played in your success as a co-parent and husband to your current wives?
It's good because it gives you a balance. It gives you a balance. It gives you a rubric too. What to follow, what not to follow. It gives you the how-tos on how to navigate. Everything is in Quran and Sunnah. So if you don't know, there's some way to tell you on how to deal with the children, how to deal with the wife, how to deal with the kids, so Islam is the guide for you.
Okay, and so can you reference what Islam actually says about co-parenting for those who may not know?
There is a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ where it was the couple got divorced and the child was of age, like around 10. And instead of saying, you go with the mom, you go with the father, they asked the child to give balance. Where do you want to go? So that's showing you that Islam is a balanced religion. You know what I'm saying? It's showing you that it's not a dictatorship. And also in Islam, it also says where the child should go, or with who the children should go to upon the marriage. And that's not a punishment to the woman. That is actually a blessing, because realistically, no man wants to marry a new wife and inherit all of that. There's some exceptions, but most men don't want to do that. So to keep her value and to make her attractive and appealing to men, Allah put that in place so she can continue to get married if a marriage doesn't fail. So it's a balance. It's a blessing for both parties.
Okay, and so what do you think some of the factors are in why a child should go to the father after a certain age according to Islamic teachings?
Yeah, it's a blessing for the man and the woman. It's a blessing for the woman because she could be more desirable and she don't have to take that baggage to a new marriage, to a man that's not their father. Protection for the children, because you don't know what type of man you marry. You don't know what his habits are, his bad habits. And there's a protection for the father so he can have access and control over his kids, because those are his kids. You are what your father is, right? You take the father's last name. You don't take the mother's last name. We get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? So it's a protection for everybody across the board.
Okay, and so would you say you have completely healed from your experience with conflict and co-parenting? Are you in a peaceful and healed place now?
Bro, I just came back from Umrah 2 weeks ago. I'm in a beautiful space. I'm straight. I got no problems with nobody. I love everybody. I got no beef. I got no issues. It's the work. Listen, I have enough time managing my current wives. I don't have no time for that. That's the problem. I don't have no time. So that's what it is, man. You got to use your time wisely. Don't waste your time on nonsense.
Okay, and so would you say using your time wisely is another key tool that you've used for success in your co-parenting relationship?
Yeah, because the healing is a process that happens over time, right? But you can't heal unless you're ready to accept reality. The reality is this relationship is over. The reason why it's over is because of whatever the reasons are. Accept it, evolve, move on, and you're going to be okay. A lot of people get stuck into coulda, woulda, shouldas. No, it's over. It's over. And if it's going to come back, Allah knows best. But right now, it's over. I remember one time when me and my wife broke up, we were sitting in the living room and we looked at each other and we smiled. We thought, man, we had some good times, man. We had some good times. You can't. Got 4 beautiful girls. So even if you was mad at each other, at some point you could be like, man, nah, he was a good man. He was there. Yes. And we were young. I was young. I got married at 18, 19. She was 17, 16. We were young. We're babies. You don't think you want to make mistakes at 19? And I'm 39 now. So if I'm looking at my younger 20 years ago, listen, but alhamdulillah, Allah allowed me to have this conversation with you 20 years later.
Wow. With that being said, in closing, what message would you give to co-parents struggling with communication and feeling ready to give up?
I'll tell them take some time for themselves, do some healing, get some therapy. I got therapy when I was going through my divorce. I sat with somebody, talk it out, talk your thoughts out, because the reason why you're in a divorce or a breakup is because you made bad decisions. You're not a bad person. You made some bad decisions. So think about your bad decisions, learn from them, grow from them, and just talk it out. That's it. Don't try to fix it all by yourself. And don't think it's going to happen overnight. It took me a long time to get to a place where it's fine. So life is a journey. Don't try to skip steps. It doesn't work like that.
After listening to Hajji Hassan's experiences and insights on co-parenting and polygyny, it's evident that his unique background, beliefs, and perspectives have shaped his approach to co-parenting in significant ways. Some key lessons from our conversation with Hajji include the importance of effective communication. Hajji emphasizes the need for co-parents to listen to each other, respect each other's boundaries, and focus on the best interests of their children. Open communication can foster a healthier and more supportive co-parenting environment. 2. Embracing the healing process. Hajji shares his journey of healing after a divorce and encourages others to accept reality, evolve, and move on. Seeking therapy, learning from past decisions, and taking time for personal growth are essential steps in this process. 3. Maintaining a strong bond with the children. Hajji highlights the importance of understanding children's interests and hobbies and maintaining open communication with them. This can help strengthen the bond between parent and child, even in the context of co-parenting. And 4, the value of organization. Hajji stresses the importance of being organized in co-parenting situations. By keeping emotions in check and focusing on the children's well-being, co-parenting can become a smooth and effective process. And 5, respecting boundaries and roles. In blended families and co-parenting situations, respecting the boundaries and roles of each person involved is crucial. Hajji shares his vision of creating a central hub for all his children, emphasizing the importance of fostering a comfortable and connected environment for everyone. And 6, navigating polygyny and co-parenting. Hajji shares his experiences and challenges in both polygyny and co-parenting, offering valuable insights into the rewards and difficulties that can arise in these unique family structures. By reflecting on Hajji's experiences and lessons, we can gain a deeper understanding of the diverse challenges and complexities that can arise in co-parenting relationships, particularly in the context of polygyny and multicultural backgrounds. By embracing open communication, understanding, and empathy, co-parents can work together to create a supportive and nurturing environment for their children, regardless of the specific challenges they may face. And so that's it for today's episode. I hope you found this discussion with Hajji Hassan on his experiences with co-parenting and polygyny both enlightening and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you for listening, and remember, stay strong, stay hopeful, and keep healing.